This video is to go over part 1 of the joint lab where we are looking at the joints of the skull. Normally we only look at sutures, but I also want to go over the gum fosses, which are between teeth and the jawbones, and the temporal mandibular joint. So we're going to go actually back to the skull 360 video. I don't have a separate page for this. And we're going to look at the skull bones, and we're going to try to find these sutures. Coronal, lambdoid, sagittal, squamosal, temporal, zygomatic, temporal. We're also going to look at the temporal mandibular joint and the gum fosses. So here's the web page. So here's the web page. I recommend this view right here. You could actually look at both views for this activity. So I suggest you look at both of these for this activity. I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to make it full screen by clicking. So this is the lateral view. We have the coronal suture between the frontal and the parietal bones. It goes all the way to the other side. Remember, I took the parietal bone off here so you could see. So that would be the coronal suture right there. This is the sagittal suture, and you could see how it's sort of interwoven together. And it's between the two parietal bones. We have the lambdoid suture between the parietal and occipital bones. So that it would, again, be right here. And then the squamosal suture, squamosal means round, right here. So it starts out here at where the temporal and the parietal start, and it goes to where the temporal and occipital is. So technically, even though it's taught often that that's the squamosal, that's a different suture, and technically that would be a different suture. Now, a couple of my favorite sutures, the zygomatic temporal suture, you can see it right there, and the zygomatic frontal suture. You want to guess what that one is? So, I want you to find those name sutures, and you're going to screen capture it and label those. Now, I want to talk about the temporal mandibular joint as well, and the gum fosses. So, gum fosses is just a joint between the tooth and the alveolar process right there. So that's the gum fosses. Students get it wrong, so I want to point it out. Now, this is not a great view because I can't really see the fossa, so I'm going to go to the other. So I literally exited out of that one, went to the other view. So we have the condyle right there, fitting into the mandibular fossa. Now, this by itself is a hinge joint, open and shut. But you can move your mouth left and right, backwards and forwards. So if we look here, there's the mandibular fossa, there's this band of fibrocartilage. It's a disc or menisci, and that is going to modify this hinge joint. So you can protract, stick out, retract, and you could go left and right as you are chewing. Picture models. I want you to find and label those sutures, the major name sutures, the temporal mandibular joint. Ooh, that's a cool view of it. And the gum fosses. Then I want you to look and try to see how many sutures you can find. Any suture is between one bone and another bone of the skull. So see how many you can find. I counted up on a web page, and I have a rough estimate how many there really are, but I really want you to just understand a suture is between a bone and another bone of the skull. So I don't want a number, just see how many you could find. Then I want you to name some of them. So this is a creative process. I want you to take another photo, screenshot, and name two of them how you think it should be named. Like, what would you call a suture between the frontal bone and the nasal bone? What would a logical name for that one be? Now, that's boring. I then want you to name two more. Anatomists can't have all the fun naming things, so I want you to be creative, and I want you to name two more sutures. And I want some logic behind it, but be creative, because I have to read 60 of these, so I need something to make me laugh. I might respond to you if it's funny enough. So be creative, name two more of the sutures. So like squiggly line suture for that. So you're going to take one screenshot, be serious, what I'll test you on. Take another screenshot, try to guess the names. Then Be creative on two names. Make me laugh. That is your goal for this. So, that is all. Thank you.